we know we got a problem. We've always known we got a problem. And in my mind, the problem has to do with diet, exercise, or the lack thereof. We eat the wrong stuff the wrong time. We prepare it the wrong way. We eat too much of it. We don't exercise, or we don't exercise as we should. You know, it's something. And when you say it's preventive, I'm pretty sure you're about to touch on all of that. Because unfortunately, if you're talking about the matriarch of the family or the patriarch of the family, at that point, once you come in and doc, this is what's wrong, guess what? You've done 40, 50, 60, 70 years worth of damage. And I don't think you guys can medicate the problem away. That's my assumption. But I want y'all to kind of move the discussion from where we are and, hey man, we did wrong, but maybe we were ignorant, okay, to now that we know what we need to be doing, let's be about being good stewards of our body and what we have been physically entrusted with. Because if we're not going to be good stewards of it and we already know better, then we're not necessarily ignorant. Now we're stupid because you know better and you don't do better. And you know, people get offended by labels like that, but let's just go on the Sunday show and keep it real. So let's go to the preventive.
Okay, you want to go straight to preventive. Okay, cool. I have a little acronym that I'm just kind of working on over the past few days while reviewing my notes on heart. It's FAST, real easy, F-A-S-T. F is for food, and by that I mean picking the appropriate foods. You understand that the food is the fuel for your body, and you're going to affect your overall health.
And by appropriate food, you mean what I think tastes good, right?
No, not necessarily. No, what we mean is, we want to try to stay away from processed foods because they tend to have a lot of salt and a lot of chemicals that we really don't need. We want to kind of keep up with nutritional research that indicates what areas to avoid. There's certain fats that are good and certain fats that are not. I mean, I think that's a whole nother program. It kind of goes beyond the scope of our discussion, but definitely something we need to hit on at some point in a more expanded format.
Yeah. Briefly, they talk about what's recommended is that when you fix your plate, half of your plate should be full of fruits and vegetables. Half of it. Every meal. And when it comes to salt, which is a big culprit, the American Heart Association allows 2,500 milligrams of sodium a day. That's no additional salt to your food. There is salt in frozen chicken before you cook it. So in order to maintain that, you don't cook with salt, you don't add any additional salt to your food, and then you'll hit that level. So fresh fruits and vegetables, not processed, not canned, because you're getting more sodium, and no additional salt.
And so now, let me make sure I interpret that for some folks, because in their mind, I'm only going to add a little bit, and it's not going to taste right, or they're not going to like it if I don't do it. Yeah. But when, like you already said, the processed foods come with it because salt is a preservative. It's not necessarily that salt is a bad thing, but we're getting way too much salt because we don't see what they put into it before we bought it. We got it home. And now we add just a little bit here and there to it to make it, palatable. Right. But what you're saying is we can't do that no more.
No additional salt. Seasoned salt, no additional salt to your food.
What about sea salt?
No additional salt. And that's potassium chloride rather than sodium. But that's another session.
So sea salt is all right?
No, I didn't say that. Oh, okay. No additional salt to your food. And half your plate, when you're fixing your plate, half your plate should be full of fruits and vegetables. Mm-hmm. Or just vegetables.
Yeah. Okay. And well, sometimes, we get into problems by habit. Because I can remember when I was in college, there were a number of us would just sit down, and automatically we felt like, hey, give me the pepper, give me the salt. Right. And even taste the food. And I think a lot of people get into that. And then you said something that I wanted to remember that's very magical. And you, a few minutes ago, you indicated that oftentimes by the time we get the symptoms, we have 40, 50 years of damage. Mm-hmm. And then we go to our professional medical people and say, hey, make me new again. Fix, and, obviously they do, okay?
Okay. So that was just the F.
Right.
Okay. A stands for activity, and Dr. O'Donnell would probably say aspirin as well. By activity, we mean maybe a brisk walk every day, maybe taking the stairs 2 flights rather than the elevator. Activity, kind of get your blood flowing a little bit.
Yeah, about the American Heart Association recommends that you exercise 2 hours and 30 minutes a week. So if you're not used to exercising, you can exercise 10 minutes 3 times a day, 5 days a week, and you got it. 10 minutes 3 times a day, you're worth that. But they recommend 2 hours and 30 minutes of physical exercise a week. I mean, come on, people, that's not a lot.
And what about aspirin?
Aspirin, and we always recommend that you talk to your healthcare provider about aspirin. And typically the aspirin that we recommend for most people now is 81 milligrams. It's not the 325 like it used to be. It's 81 milligrams. But now there are some conditions where you can't take aspirin. So we do recommend that you talk to your healthcare provider. But it's important, in some of the research that we did, it talked about non-adherence to medication. You know, it's almost like Mr. Nelson said, you've done 40 or 50 years of damage, and then you come in and say, make me new. And we can help you get better. We can change some of that. Coronary artery bypass, grafting, stenting, we can open those arteries up. We can control your blood pressure. We can control your cholesterol. And after all of that, after the medical research has allowed us to do all of this for you, to undo some of the things that you did by not being good stewards, smoking and things like that, then studies have shown 41 to 50% of patients are non-adherent to the medication. After all of that, then you still won't take the medicine. If we could just get you to take the medicine.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. When I go by and see some of my friends smoking, I say, hey, why not be okay? I said, well, that's what I remember. I smoked for about 25 years. It took me 25 years to quit, because I quit and then I'd start back and then I'd smoke a cigar and then I'd say, well, I'm going to smoke a pipe when the weather was a little cool. And what really made me quit is when we came in the 80s, is, hey, you can't smoke in your office and things like that anymore. You got to go across the streets, across the alley.
So you would go stand outside the rain.
And I knew I needed to quit because my diet wasn't exactly right. You need to quit something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which brings us to S. Perfect segue.
There we go. Okay.
I really didn't have smoking under S, but I'm going to put it there. Definitely don't smoke. If you do smoke, quit smoking. Even the e-cigarettes have a nicotine content, which in itself can be harmful. The nicotine has effects on your cardiovascular blood flow that are definitely detrimental, especially in a person with underlying disease like hypertension and diabetes mellitus. The immediate effects of nicotine can precipitate all kinds of heart damage. So let's avoid that. The other S that I really wanted to hit on was sleep, rest. It's so underrated, but I'm here to bring rest back. After more than 20 years in the ER and all of the night shifts that I've pulled, I have personally found that it's much more difficult to recover and to go on and do that next shift or to be productive that following day. But just overall, you definitely should incorporate adequate rest in your daily routine. Don't underestimate the power of rest. Not only do you feel rejuvenated and sharper when you arise the next morning, but it has definite psychological and physiological rejuvenate. Oh boy, it restores you psychologically and physiologically. So let's not underestimate the power of a good night's sleep.
You know, Charles, I tell my patients that sleep is like the Sabbath for us because we weren't designed to be the Energizer Bunny. And when you sleep, that's when the body has the opportunity to rejuvenate itself. That's when it rebuilds. So if you're not getting the proper sleep that you need, then you're not getting that Sabbath. The Sabbath was meant to rest. It was meant for us to rebuild, for us to build upon. And if you don't sleep, if you don't get the proper amount of sleep, then you're not getting that. You're not rebuilding. You're not rejuvenating. And we are not the Energizer Bunnies. We can't just go and go and go. things happen when you do that.
Yeah, and that happens to us so many times when we're young. We think we're the
Right, you can just keep going. I don't need that sleep, but you really,
I
you
won't worry
need,
about that until I get older. Okay?
right, you need that rejuvenation, that rebuilding.
Well, let's go to another break, and then we'll be able to just coast in from there. Okay?
We'll be right back with more of the Sunday Show.
So we're talking about fast, and we hadn't got to the T yet. So go ahead and educate us, if you would, Pastor Ford. I mean, Dr. Fortenberry, because he's a preacher.
Foreseeing.
Oh my goodness. We know it's nice to leave that tea out there to kind of keep people interested.
I know.
So let's go with the tea now. Actually, you stole a little bit of my thunder. I left tobacco under T, but we can push it up to S if you like and make that smoking. But tobacco for sure, avoid it. And the other T is take your medicine. And again, that's another one that's often overlooked. The importance of compliance. You know, we make such an effort to get to the physician's office and to get these prescriptions. You run off to the drugstore, get the medicine, and then you leave it in the medicine cabinet. They're not cheap.
People buy expensive meds and don't even take them.
They don't take them. Yeah, they don't.
So just to get to get your money's worth out of the medicine that you have in your cabinet, just go ahead and take it. It's good for you.
Yeah.
Because you won't look on the label and it says until you feel good. That's generally what happens to many of us. We take it until we feel better. All right, we got about 2, 3, 4 more minutes left, so you all go ahead and deal with whatever you want to deal with, okay?
Texarkana,
Yes.
we would like to challenge you to take control of your heart. Do the ABCs. Take your aspirin, control your blood pressure, manage your cholesterol, don't smoke. Eat a heart-healthy diet. Half of your plate should be fruits and vegetables, foods that are low in sodium, no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium a day. Get moving, try walking 10 minutes 3 times a day for 5 days a week, and of course take your medication, because today is the first day of the rest of your life.